Welcome back. Make sure you watch the main video on solving the 4D Rubik's Cube before you watch this one. Otherwise, not much of what I'll be saying here will make sense to you. So this video is really for people who want to give solving the 4D Rubik's Cube a go. Alright, you'll be using the program Magic Cube 4D. You can download it for free off the internet. I've provided a link in the description. And so this is the interface. I'll be using the menus. I've memorized shortcuts, but we'll be using the menus. So let's just go to puzzles. There's all sorts of puzzles you can play. The one you're going for is Hypercube, and it's 3 here. So you can have 2, right? That's just a 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 Rubik's Cube. And then we really want this one here. So that's the 4D Rubik's Cube, the 3 by 3 by 3 by 3. Eventually, you're going to scramble this full, you get this, and then you're going to try and solve the Rubik's Cube by making twists like this. And so the first thing you should do is create a log file. So I've called this test.log. So you save your log file, and then you make some moves. So whenever you think you've made some progress, you just save your log file. And the next time you wipe out, scramble the Rubik's Cube beyond repair, you just return to your last saved log file and you continue from there. Really very helpful. Okay, now what can you do here? Well, you can drag things around, rotate the cube. If I want to align things in a certain way, I kind of make these little circular moves here so that it aligns things for me. Now, what you really need, and that's very important for Mac people like myself, is you need a 2-button mouse, because left clicks turn things counterclockwise, like so, and right clicks turn clockwise, like so. There's keyboard shortcuts that you can use to replace this, but I think it's nicer to have the mouse. Okay, now let's just have a look at this one here, preferences. So there's all sorts of controls, pretty self-explanatory. For example, zooming in and out. Here we can shrink the faces. Maybe just give this a go yourself. Now, I'll be mostly focusing on creating algorithms for solving the 4D Rubik's Cube. That's what I've been going on about in the main video too. So let's just go to macros. Here we go. And I've already programmed some in. So these are algorithms or macros for solving the 3D Rubik's Cube. So cycling 3 corners of a 3D Rubik's Cube, twisting 2 corners of a 3D Rubik's Cube, cycling 3 edges, and twisting 2 edges. And well, let's just unleash one of those things on the 4D Rubik's Cube. So every macro is defined in terms of 3 reference stickers. You can choose those any way you want. I've chosen my reference stickers to form a triangle on one of those cubical cells. The first reference sticker may be this one here. So the second corner of the triangle is this one here. And the third one is this one here. Now it executes the algorithm. And while it's doing that, we're actually going to go to that view where you can see the Rubik's Cube, the 3D Rubik's Cube, right? So you kind of collapse everything down like that. Let's collapse that a little bit. Anyway, you can see the Rubik's Cube here. And so what we just did, what the algorithm did, was to cycle this corner, and that corner there. That's what it does, right? Now expand again, expand out. So here we go, and there. So now we can see what effect this 3D algorithm had on our 4D Rubik's Cube. What it did was it cycled 3 columns of hypercubes. So there's the first column of hypercubes. There's the second column of hypercubes. And then there's this one at the back here, which I can also highlight like this. So that's the third one. Now the way it's arranged here, it's maybe not ideal. I'd like to kind of think in terms of this center. So I can actually rotate everything down into the middle. So I can take the yellow cubical cell and I press Control and click on the yellow anywhere, and that rotates things down. So I've actually not twisted anything. I've just rotated the Rubik's Cube in a new position here. So get this thing here, and this is center. And now you can see that the columns that get cycled are nicely aligned. So there's the first one, there's the second one, and the third one is here in the back. Now we could have gotten this view straight away by unleashing our macro in a slightly different way. So let's just do this again. So we're going to again cycle the 3 corners, but this time I'm choosing my reference sticker to be this guy here, that guy here, and that guy there. And now the algorithm gets executed again. And so this time you get things straight away aligned in the middle. So here's the first column, here's the second column, and there's the third column. Now, as I said in the main video, every one of those columns contains an edge hypercube. Right? So there's the edge hypercube contained in this column here. So there's the edge hypercube. And so there's 3 of them. So these 3 edge hypercubic get cycled around. So if you don't worry about the corner hypercubics that also get cycled around, you can just use this 3D Rubik's Cube algorithm to fix the positions of your edge hypercubes in the 4D one. Okay, but you know, there's also this other thing that I mentioned, is kind of distilling out clean cycles of edge hypercubes and also corner hypercubes. And so I just want to show how this works by making up a new macro. So first reset. Now we're going to make up a macro. So start and stop macro. We're going to choose the same configuration of reference stickers as before because we want to nest macros. So first I execute my cycle 3 corners guy. It's going to do exactly the same thing as before. Okay, now I want to go for the corners. So what I'll do is I'll go for these 3 corners. I want to isolate them, or I want to do something with corners anyway. So what I'll do is I give this layer here a twist, and I do this by pressing this face here. Okay, and now I'm going to run my 3D Rubik's Cube algorithm in reverse. And what that's going to do is it's going to fix everything that I haven't touched just now. Okay, which is going to the bottom 2 layers that you kind of see here. Okay, so let's just do this. Okay, so it's restored everything at the bottom, and now we untwist here. Okay, and that's created this corner cycle. So there's the first corner here, there's the second corner here, and there's a third corner over here. So they get cycled around. Okay, and now we can finish our macro, and we call it cycle 3 corners. So that's a clean macro that cycles 3 corners of the 4D Rubik's Cube. And actually, that's the only one you really need to fix up all the corners. Now I want to just go back and create another macro from the same 3D Rubik's Cube algorithm, cycle 3 corners. So again, choose 3 reference stickers, the same as before. So now we're defining the moves. We're going to go for cycle 3 corners again, which is going to give us these 3 cycle columns. Okay, and now I want to create a clean macro that just cycles edge hypercubics. What I'll do is I'll use a slice move to isolate those. So I'm going to click the red face up here, and I'm going to also press at the same time 2, which separates out the second slice here, so here. And now I'm going to run this in reverse, which is going to fix everything that's not been sliced. Right, and now I'm going to slice in return. So again, touch that guy up there, press 2, and go in reverse. So now if you have a look at it, there's just going to be 3 edge hypercubies that get cycled. There's the first one, there's the second one, and there's the third one. Okay, so we're also going to call this something. So we can call this cycle 3 edges. Okay. And you can actually use this particular algorithm to pretty much fix up the position of all the edge hypercubes. Really pretty straightforward. All right, now let's also do some orienting. So for that one, I translate the twist two corners algorithm of the 3D Rubik's Cube into something useful. Okay, let's make up a macro again. Start. So here we go. Now let's unleash this 3D algorithm onto the 4D Rubik's Cube. There we go. Let's just see what that does. Okay, so that affects just 2 columns like this. So there's one column here, and there's another column here. And so what happens here is that like every single hypercube that you see here is actually left in peace. It's just that the colors here get cycled around. These stickers here get cycled around for this piece, for example. So this one here goes over here, that one here goes over there, and that one here goes over there. The same with this edge hypercube. They just cycle around like this, and the same sort of thing over there on the other side. Okay, and again, if you want to fix the edges first, you can just go for it. You just kind of ignore the corners here, and you can fix the orientation of the edges just using this one here. But we can also, again, isolate things. Let's just do this for the corners first. So first I twist the top away, so going like that. Then I'm going to run this guy in reverse, which fixes all the bits that have not been twisted away, like this. And now I untwist. And what that gives me is 3 twisted corner pieces. So all these corners here, they haven't moved. This one hasn't moved, that one hasn't moved, and that one hasn't moved. Just the stickers here have been cycled around, right? So this sticker here has been cycled over there, that sticker has been cycled there, and that sticker has been cycled there. All right, so let's just call this twisting. So twist 3 corners. So that's twisting 3 corners simultaneously. Well, that's actually quite a bit. Remember, we started out with just twisting 2 corners. Well, we can also get a 2-corner twisting algorithm out of this by iterating things one more time. So we'll do a new macro. Again, just choose our reference stickers, like so. And now we'll actually just do our new algorithm here. So execute that one. Okay, you can see that just did the twisting on those 3 corners here. Now what we'll do is we'll twist the top, run this guy in reverse, and see what happens. That's actually going to cancel out one of those twists and just leave us with 2 corners twisted. So those 2 corners are twisted, see? And I untwist the top. And now if you have a really close look, what you see is that there's only 2 corners that get twisted. So this corner here, the stickers went from here to there to there to there. And here they kind of cycle the other way around. So that's just two corners twisted. So let's give that a new name. So that's twist 2 corners. And actually these are adjacent corners. Right? So let's make it twist 2 corners adjacent. So this guy and that guy here. Now I also want one macro which twists opposite corners. So like opposite like this. Let's reset. Okay, so I want this guy here to be twisted. If I unleash twist 2 corners adjacent, it's going to do this one and that one here. So what I'll do is, I first give this layer here a twist so that this one here comes over there. So new macro. So new macro, define reference stickers. Now give this a twist so that this corner here becomes that one, like that. Now execute this guy here. It's just kind of a setup move that we're doing here. And then go in reverse like that. And save this as a new macro. This is called twist two corners opposite. So there we've made up a new algorithm. Okay, so now this corner is twisted and that corner there is twisted. And now I said in the main video you can also make up a algorithm that just twists one corner, and I'm now going to use this twist two corners opposite algorithm to get me one of those things. So let's just reset again. 1, 2, 3. So execute our twist two corners opposite guy. Now I give this a corner twist. So like so. And I'll do another twist two corners like that. Okay, so now these three guys are twisted. Now let's reverse this guy here. Now, when I run twist two corners opposite reversed, this will fix up that one definitely. So let's just do it. Okay, so now, well, now we have to fix up this one here because we don't want it. So we'll do another twist like this and another one in reverse. Okay, and now twist and we're done. See, let's just do this one corner here that gets twisted now. So we've got another macro here, which is called twist one corner. And so if you actually look at these algorithms that we made up now, they really take care of everything that you will ever encounter in terms of corners. And I think it should be clear by now how you get this similar sort of algorithms here for the edge hypercubes, for fixing edge hypercubes and face hypercubes using these two 3D Rubik's Cube algorithms. So I'll leave that to you. A couple more remarks. So you're saving your progress in a log file, but what you should also save are your macros. So first you create a macro file. So I've called this Burkard's macros for this video. I save it. Then whenever I've finished recording another macro, I actually update the macro file by executing this one here. Okay. Now you notice from the 3D Rubik's Cube, you usually can't apply your macros or your algorithms straight away. What you have to do first is you have to do some setup moves. So for example, we've got this algorithm that cycles three corners, these three corners here. Now maybe what we want to do is we want to cycle this corner and that corner and the guy here. So what we have to do first is to move this corner here to the position of one of the three guys that we are controlling. So we do this with a setup move, and then we execute our algorithm, and then we have to execute our setup moves in reverse. Okay, and actually the program here helps us with this. What we can do is we can say begin macro setup moves. Background changes to yellow. Now we want this guy here in that position, okay, or in that position, or I mean all these stickers stand for the same hypercube. It doesn't really matter where it goes. Anyway, so let's just do this. Okay, so we're doing a setup move. So first I'll twist it to the front. Important is that I haven't touched those two guys, right? Then I want it over here, so I twist it over. So there, it's twisted over. Now it's in the right position, okay? So it's now in the right position. It is one of the stickers of this corner hypercube. Now I'm going to execute my cycle three corners guy. Okay, so there we go. So it's executing this, but in addition to this, it's also going to reverse our setup move at the end of the algorithm. So let's just wait for this, and it's done it. Okay, and if you have a close look now, you'll see there's three corners that have been cycled. It's this one here, that one here, and that one here. So it's very convenient, this command. So definitely use it. Now what I've produced here are algorithms that are, well, they do the job, but they're actually very wasteful in terms of the number of twists they use. So like the last one here is twisting one corner, one takes like a zillion twists. And if you're really, if you really have a close look, you can actually do this with very few. There is a set of optimized algorithms that you can have a look with, that you can experiment with. It's linked in from the Magic Cube 4D website. It's by Royce Nelson, one of the main players in this high-dimensional Rubik's Cube scene. Now finally, what I'll also do is link in a log file with a complete set of algorithms that have been derived with the sort of methods I've been discussing here in this video. And also at the end of this, there are Royce Nelson's algorithms, the optimized algorithms. So feel free to download that macro file, load it into your version of Magic Cube 4D, and experiment with it. Or maybe even use these algorithms to solve the 4D Rubik's Cube. It's still going to be a very difficult task, I assure you. Okay, and that's it, and hope you enjoy this, and let me know how you go.